Hi everyone, this is Nirupama and I want to welcome you to your own show, Listen Up Girl. Every Thursday we bring to you a new guest and today the topic is something that is very close to your heart. हम जब भी entrepreneurship start करते हैं हमारे दिमाग में बहुत सारे सवाल होते हैं वी थिंक दैट हमें कुछ स्किल्स डेवलप करने की ज़रूरत है हमें अपने माइंडसेट पे काम करने की ज़रूरत है बट क्या आपको पता है कुछ ऐसी मिथ्स होती है जो आपको डेफिनेटली बस्ट करनी है because if you do not clear these weeds right in the beginning this is something you're going to carry along with you. So today with me I have a very special guest who is joining us from New Delhi. Let me call Misha Bajaj. Hi Misha, how are you doing?
Very well. How are you, Nirupama?
I'm doing awesome and I'm feeling so amazing and fantastic after seeing you, meeting you.
Same here. I'm very excited, super excited to be on this show and to be talking about entrepreneurship and women in entrepreneurship.
Awesome.
Being one, I think it just makes it even more special.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the women, let's not forget the people who are watching us right now. So for all of those who are listening to us, we would want you to put in the chat section, आप कहाँ से join कर रहे हैं? Please put your name and put your city and also let us know आप क्या करते हैं. So that we could actually include you, help you participate in this entire live show. So please let us know in the chat section your name, your city, and what is it that you do so that we get to know about you as a person. So Misha, हम लोग जब भी ये शो स्टार्ट करते हैं हमारा एक ब्रांड रिचुअल है वी ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद द शो एंथम okay and I'm going to bring in that music so that we can actually set the vibe and we can give some time to our audience to start typing in the chat section that where are they from. So let's just bring in some music till then so that the audience can enjoy and they can have some good fun. All right, let's bring in some music. Here's a song for all of you out there. This is one of the favorite tracks. Misha, is this song coming? I'm not too sure.
I can't hear it, I can just see it.
You can see it. All right. So I think the song doesn't want to come. Misha, how about if we sing one of the songs together? What do you say?
Go for it. You start now, join you.
आपका favorite song कौन सा है? We would
इतने
want to
सारे
know.
हैं, but right now nothing is coming to my head.
Awesome, awesome. So we would want to know from the audience, आपका favorite song कौन सा है, so that we could sing that song during the show because this entire show is not just about serious, knowledge, but it is also about having some good fun. So we always, play this song, We Could Be Heroes. So, and let me just start by singing that song for our audience. And Misha, do you know this song or do you want me to go for a Hindi version? Any
I
song?
don't know the song actually, but you could just go ahead.
All right. So let's have some good fun and let me sing one of the songs जो मुझे मेरे बचपन का song याद है, which is आवारा भवरे जो हौले हौले गाई फूलों के
Okay.
जगह पे
Hawaii.
हवाएं थरथराई कोयल की कुहू कुहू पपीहे की पीहू पीहू
पीहू जंगल में
जंगल में
झींगर
चील जैसे
गाए
काए काए नदिया में लहरें आई तन्हाई छलकी जाए
जाए
भीगे होठों पे वो गुनगुनाए
गाता
गाता है सा है गाता है महका पानी गाता है ये दिल तो सारे गामा पादानी सा we may not be singing in the best of the voice but guys I want to tell you we are having super duper fun और अगर आप सोच रहे हैं कि हम तो मिथ्स सीखने आए थे ये म्यूजिक कहाँ से आ गया I want to tell you that nothing can start with a good vibration, nothing can start with a good vibe, and that is the reason we try to bring this music segment every time we start the show. So, Misha, बहुत सारे लोग हमें join कर रहे हैं and वो जानना चाहेंगे that मिशा है कौन how did Misha's journey start? So if you could talk briefly, how did you become the person that you are today, और क्या क्या वो milestones रहे आपसे जानना चाहेंगे as we are moving ahead.
That's a very interesting question, and the answer can be really long. So I am not going.
That's the reason I said briefly.
So I think rather than me pointing out to everything that I have, done in my life, I think what I'll, in brief, say that who I am today is
Yes,
really, it's the sum total of all of the experiences that I've had in life, quite
sure.
frankly. It's been all of the people that I have met and I have worked with. It's been, my bosses, my colleagues, my mentors, my family, my kids, my husband, my business partner now, my networks that I have, been supported by and continue to support. Um, and I think education is another one. Education has and constant upskilling for myself.
जी.
I'm a very curious person, so that that curiosity leads me to a lot of places which I have never known.
Right, right,
So that has definitely shaped me as I am today.
right.
Working with multicultural teams, you know, and traveling the world, I think that has just added a completely new and different dimension to me, which I was not aware of for till I was in my 20s, I think.
Sure.
And I think that COVID, of course, and how a lot of things had to be shifted and moved and turned around, and a lot of us kind of pivoted to new
Yes,
careers, new education. That changed us. That
right.
changed me personally, and I think that kind of gave a new meaning to what everybody is doing these days. I think
Absolutely.
to life. So all of that in my business, of course, trial and error, making a lot of mistakes, and then learning from them, and then realizing that okay, this is how it needs to be done. And and a lot of things that we've been talking about, Nirupma, since morning, the things that have happened since morning, and just because it's
Yes.
been experienced before, customer complaints and client warnings and new business development and exciting new projects and dealing with the team, and working at home and looking after your children, all of that happens in early hours of a morning
और
only.
बिजनेस भी हो जाता है साथ
वो भी
साथ.
चल रहा है साथ साथ. So all of that I think has shaped me.
Beautiful.
And of course I think I'm pretty spiritual as a person, so
Lovely.
spirituality, meditation, and all of that does it for me. It's just completely made me who I am
आपने
today.
अपना सीक्रेट सॉस दे दिया. Spirituality, meditation, that's actually giving that charge for Misha. And I really love the way you said that mistakes, because हम लोग कई बार बहुत डरते हैं कि क्या अगर हमने कुछ गलती कर दी, so what will the people think. And the way you mention, uh, probably I've got a theme for today, which is it's absolutely okay if you're making those mistakes. It's absolutely okay if you are on that journey and figuring out ऐसे चीजें नहीं चलती. This is how things work. So I'm really glad, and I want to really say hi to some of the people. Jyoti Nath has joined us. Hi Jyoti, so good to have you. Ilu Anandi has joined us from Budapest. She's a software developer. And she says, you sang very well, Nirupma. Thank you, Ilu, for letting me know
For
that.
the encouragement you did
Well,
actually.
thank you, thank you. I was just enjoying. And people, we'll be singing a lot of songs for you. So ये सारेगामा पा भी है और busting myths about women entrepreneurship भी है. So please make sure आप अपने favorite songs जरूर डालें और हम लोग lyrics निकाल के आज आपके लिए गाना गाएंगे, and we're going to have some good fun. So please make sure that you are letting us know where are you joining us from, and थोड़ा सा twist है, what is your favorite song? See, please put your favorite song in the chat section so that we can get to know from you. All
You know
right.
what, Nirupama? I also sing, and I've been a singer all through school and college and everything. So this is a new format of this, a talk show that I'm listening to. So ये बहुत interesting है मेरे लिए. And you said that what something that keeps you going. Singing and music is also something, apart from meditation and all of these
Absolutely.
things. that keeps me going.
सो
So,
मिशा
so
आप बिल्कुल चिंता ना करें, आज हम आपसे बहुत गाने गवाएंगे along with the questions. So keep
amazing.
it, make sure that you are putting your question in the songs in the chat section, जिससे हम मिशा से आज कुछ गाने बोले कि वो sing करे. So let's start with the first question, Misha. And because I know that you've been a person who researches very very well, so मैं भी कुछ अपनी research करके आई आज. And I want to know from you that if we look at the world at large और इंडिया में भी देखिए, इंडिया में if we talk about entrepreneurs as such, we have less than 20%, and to be very precise 13.76 of women who are entrepreneurs. So मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहूंगी that हम इंडिया में इतनी women literacy होते हुए भी why is it so that we find that only a very small percentage of women are getting into entrepreneurship? We would want to know from you.
आई थिंक निरुपमा इसको देखने का हमारे को एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट सेट करना पड़ेगा बिकॉज
Okay.
व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट इंडिया वी आर नॉट एंड वी आर सिटिंग इन द मेट्रोज राइट तो अगर हम इंडिया के बारे में बात करते
Yeah.
हैं तो हम सिर्फ मेट्रोज को नहीं देख सकते we have to look at and accept the fact that we have tier 2 cities, we have tier 3 cities, okay, and we have certain
Right.
structures or societal norms, so to say, okay. In India we
Okay.
have certain ways of working, ways of dealing with
Right.
things, okay. So when we
Right.
talk about this we have to look at the context around it, okay. And I
Right.
feel that in India, most women are expected to be educated, but
Right.
mostly because they need to have a good CV for getting married, you
Yes.
know, in a lot of places.
Right.
And other places, women are definitely educated, but there is a huge expectation that they will get married and look after their family.
Right.
ओके, तो फैमिली कर लो, उसके बाद तुम देख लेना तुम क्या करना चाहती हो. सो आई
Right.
हैव सीन पर्सनली अ लॉट ऑफ वेल एजुकेटेड women who have given up on any career and their education. They would have been working before getting married, but शादी के बाद, they drop it. And a
Right.
lot of times it's not even out of pressure. It's just their own choice. You know, because as women, I think we judge ourselves very harshly.
Right.
हमें लगता है कि अगर हम एक्सपेक्टेशंस नहीं पूरी करेंगे अपनी दुनिया की तो हम फेलियर हैं.
Right.
And that fear of failure, and if we fail once then we start doubting ourselves.
That's
you
a
know
weed जो एक हमारे सॉइल में आ गया है, एंड वो
exactly.
हम घूमता रहता है दिमाग में.
Correct. So that kind of becomes like a preconditioned sort of a mindset for us.
Right.
कि I don't want to fail, I don't want to be judged, and if I fail then something is wrong with me.
Right. Right.
So that, and then I think that kind of leads us to us not speaking up when we really want to do something for ourselves.
Right.
We kind of accept this limitation as a fate for ourselves कि ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. हम पहले ही assume कर लेते हैं कि ये बन ही नहीं सकती बात, ये हो ही
Right.
नहीं सकता. That's how
Right.
usually as women we think. Okay,
Right.
because usually we want to think about everybody else, we want to fix everybody's problems, and
Right.
make sure that everything else is
Taken
working
care of
smooth.
before us.
Exactly. और अगर हम बिजनेस भी करेंगे तो बाकी सारी चीजें बिल्कुल स्मूथली चलनी चाहिए, एज इफ कोई चेंज नहीं हुआ, फॉर
Right.
एनीबॉडी. सो
और
वो
हमें
हम अपने ऊपर लेते हैं.
एग्जाम्पल्स भी दिए जाते हैं ना दुर्गा के कि आपके इतने सारे हाथ हैं, आप सब कुछ कर
करेक्ट.
सकते हो.
करेक्ट. So we believe, we've grown up believing that we are Durga.
हाँ.
And in fact, Happy Women's Day पे, if you remember, one of the images is that a woman doing everything.
राइट.
Right? Happy
राइट.
Women's Day. And
लैपटॉप
it's
है एक हाथ में किचन का कुछ
अच्छा.
सामान है.
हाँ. So, it's touted as, superwoman, and, we are proud of you. But really, the underlying tone sometimes is कि यार तुम कर लो, तुम ये भी करना चाहते हो, तो तुम्हें ये भी तो करना ही पड़ेगा.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that. And I think in some cases when women do go beyond a point, and break that, and they don't have those kind of challenges, genuinely don't have those kind of challenges, I think they find it difficult to grow themselves because, I read somewhere there's almost 40 to 45% of women entrepreneurs feel that they don't have the right mentors for, supporting them on their journey. So I
Right.
think that kind of also puts a stop to a lot of women wanting to become entrepreneurs. You know.
Thank
But
you
at
for
the same
bringing
time,
these points. Yes.
yeah, and I don't want to paint actually a very bad picture around this, because there are organizations that are working on it. I mean, I'm personally involved with a few. I'm
Sure.
involved with this organization called We Connect International.
Mm-hmm.
It's a US state funded project which actually supports women in
Uh-huh.
getting more business, okay, as part of the inclusivity and diversity of supply force agenda.
Right.
Then I'm also involved in this organization called STEP,
Mm-hmm.
which works with social entrepreneurs
Sure.
from, especially from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, to bring them
Understood.
up to speed, incubate them, get them access to finance and mentoring and training. And I think there's brilliant work being done. Look at you were doing so much work around, getting
Thank you.
women, becoming entrepreneurs. So I think there's phenomenal work happening, but we need to stand up for ourselves, I think.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing these points. So it is not all that dark, but there are a lot of brighter things, brighter shades that we can look at in form of different organizations who are working. So
Yeah.
let me just call a few more people. Al Naya has joined us. Al Naya, no, that's Suganya. Suganya has joined us from Abu Dhabi. She's a mompreneur. Hi, Suganya. So good to have you. Jayanti Gupta has joined us. Jayanti says, so relevant when you acknowledge the societal norms and pertinent structures in the society. Thank you for bringing that, Jayanti. And here I want to roll out a contest. For all of those who are listening to us, we would want you to participate and put your questions in the chat section, because the best questions, the people who participate with us till the very end, I'm going to personally send you a prize from my side, and we are going to be picking 3 winners. So please make sure that you are actually actively participating, because ये show हमारे लिए नहीं है, ये show आपके लिए है. And we want to ensure that we are able to provide maximum justice. हम आपके सारे सवालों के जवाब दे सके, or we can have some good fun. And don't forget to put the favorite numbers जो आप चाहते हैं कि मिशा गाए इस particular show में. So that's something मैं openly बोल रही हूँ आप सबको. Please make sure that you write that. Okay, let's move to the next part. आपने context set कर दिया है that sometimes we become we personify ourselves as Durga. We look at it in the form that बाकी सारी चीजें set हो जाए और फिर हम अपने बारे में सोचेंगे. And as women we are givers. So मैं एक और statistics लेके आती हूँ आपके पास. The establishments that are owned by females, they provide employment to 13.45 million people today. And कई बार ऐसा होता है when women become successful, वो और ladies को jobs पे jobs provide करती हैं, and they provide employment growth opportunities for other women. So how do you feel that women owned businesses can help in the empowerment of other women? Before we actually get onto the myths, मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहती हूँ जिससे हमें पता लगे कि women को entrepreneurship में आने की क्यों जरूरत है.
You know, it's very interesting, Nirupma, that you've got that fact out. And I just want to add another fact to this, another
जी.
statistic that I heard at a conference last year.
जी.
It was a global conference, and what they said was that um, it was a UN study, or I don't know, the World Economic Forum study or something like that, which actually said that, women, when they become entrepreneurs, they not only benefit themselves and their own families, they give a lot back to the community.
Right.
So actually women becoming a part of the whole entrepreneurship journey, or the entrepreneurial world, actually benefits the entire world. It's for
Right.
the, it's for the cumulative good of all of us, not only women.
जी.
Okay, so that's probably the answer to your question on why should women become entrepreneurs at all.
Right. Right.
So that's the answer. Like you said, we are givers. So we will not only ensure that people get jobs, we'll ensure that women get jobs. We will also give back to the community and to the society, so that it works for everybody and everybody gets benefited from it, right?
Right. Right.
And I also feel that when you become an entrepreneur, the feeling that you are responsible for the growth of another person, and not only them but their entire family,
Family. Yes.
it just gives you a massive high. In my case, it just makes me feel very proud. I mean, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, I'm very proud of my team. Okay, but at the same time, I feel that it makes me proud that I'm able to give them not only that platform to earn, but to develop themselves and set an example for their own family and friends.
Yes, for their own kids. Like I've seen some of
Exactly.
the team members, that I've had. I mean, the way they're inspiring their kids, it's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Absolutely. And at one point, it's not really about only hiring women if you're a woman entrepreneur, because ultimately, as an entrepreneur, you have to find the right person for the right job.
Yes,
Okay.
right
So,
fit. Absolutely.
exactly. And as much as gender parity is important, I think it's important to look at it in the, in the larger scheme of things, because you do have to manage a lot of
Yes.
things as an entrepreneur. So it's about the right person for the right job.
Mm-hmm.
But as a woman entrepreneur, you can definitely support other women entrepreneurs by sharing your journey, by giving them best practices so that they can probably model and learn from your mistakes.
Right.
So like if you and I have been working as an entrepreneur for like the last 6 or 7 years, we've
Mm-hmm.
we've crossed a certain distance. We've
Yes.
had a journey of our own, and we have experiences to share.
Yes.
So we can definitely share that with other women. We can point them to networks. We can point them to connections that can help them grow.
Also prevent them from making those mistakes that me and you have made. We are like, okay, there are better
Exactly.
mistakes to make rather than make these
Failing
mistakes,
on this, yeah, don't fail on this. Maybe you can fail on that. You know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that really helps because I think we have the capacity to become cheerleaders for each other.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
if you yourself are into sports and fitness and everything, when you're running, if you're running a marathon and if somebody's cheering you on, how do you feel?
I think I can cross another 5
Isn't it?
kilometers after that.
Precisely, right? So running a business is like running a marathon. And if
Right.
you've got people cheering you on
Right.
in any which way, it just does wonders.
Right. Beautiful. So, to all the people who are listening to us, I would want to know from you that what do you think is going to change if more women come into business? आप एक वर्ड में या एक सेंटेंस में आंसर दे सकते हैं. मैं अपना सवाल रिपीट करती हूँ. What do you think is going to change if more women come into business? Jayanti Gupta has written women entrepreneurs. I'll just bring that on the screen probably so that others can see that. Uh, yeah, just give me a moment. So Jayanti has written that women entrepreneurs bring diverse perspectives, fresh ideas, unique solutions to the table, leading to greater creativity, resilience in business landscape, paving the way for a more prosperous and equitable future for all. So that's something Jayanti has written. We would also want to know from all of you out there that आपको क्या लगता है क्या बदलाव आएगा अगर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ladies entrepreneurship में आती हैं? How do you think things are going to change? Please let us know in the chat section.
I can't agree more with Jayanti. Whatever she said is absolutely bang on. And if you think about it, Nirupama, I mean, we are talking about women becoming entrepreneurs. What
Yes,
does an entrepreneur do? An entrepreneur is filling a need gap, right? They're
right,
filling a gap which was existing and nobody looked at it, and you were just filling that gap, right?
right,
Irrespective of the gender.
right,
Okay. Now, if you become a woman and you're filling a need, your customers are also women, right?
right,
But if you are a woman yourself and running the business, then you can understand your customer's perspective much better
right,
than maybe, a man can. So
right.
it's a win-win for all to have women in the whole mix of things.
Absolutely. So we have another one from Anna. Anna says, women to women is the need of the hour, and that's so true. So Anna, by the way, I would want you to get connected with Misha because you people share similar versions. So I would be very happy to connect both of you after the show. So
Absolutely.
let me move ahead and talk about the next part. अभी हम बहुत सारे issues की बात कर रहे हैं women entrepreneurship से related. We spoke about why women entrepreneurship is important. We understood the fact that why in spite of having so much of literacy, a lot of women are not getting into entrepreneurship. Now let's talk about some myths. एंड दिस इज माई फेवरेट सेगमेंट बिकॉज आज हम उन मिथ्स की बात करेंगे जो कई बार हमें आगे नहीं बढ़ने देती विच डजेंट अलाउ अस टू मूव अहेड as entrepreneurs, especially women. So I would want to know from my audience right now, all of you who are listening to us, आपके दिमाग में क्या myths आती है when we talk about women entrepreneurship? Please let us know in the chat section as I bring out my first myth. सो द फर्स्ट मिथ लेट मी टॉक अबाउट, जब भी हम बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर रहे होते हैं ना, हमारे दिमाग में ये होता है, मेरा आइडिया शायद बड़ा नहीं है, ये आइडिया काम नहीं करेगा, बिजनेस बनाने के लिए तो बहुत ही यूनिक आइडिया चाहिए, ऐसा कुछ काम करना चाहिए जो किसी ने अभी तक नहीं किया, एंड वी हैव ऑल ऑफ दोज थिंग्स, और हम करते क्या है, हम वो पहला स्टेप भी नहीं लेते हैं. सो आई वुड वॉन्ट टू नो फ्रॉम यू मिशा, इस मिथ को कैसे बस्ट करें.
जो आवाज चल रही है ना, मेरा आइडिया बहुत यूनिक नहीं है, बहुत बड़ा नहीं है, ये शार्क टैंक के जजेस की आवाज लग रही है मेरे को.
अच्छा.
Quite frankly, you don't have to have a unique and big idea to make a successful business out of it.
राइट.
Like we spoke earlier, as an entrepreneur, you're filling a gap, you're filling a need gap, right?
राइट.
And when you start your entrepreneurial journey, and I will tell you from my own experience, I'm a communications person. Okay, I'm a change person, I'm a leadership coach. Okay, I'm all of those things. Now, these things are not new. इसमें कुछ disruptive नहीं है.
राइट.
But if I had thought that, I'm not getting a new disruptive technology or a new disruptive idea to the world, then my idea is not worth pursuing. Then
राइट.
I wouldn't have the business that I have today.
राइट.
Right? Today, I have 10 people in my team. I
वाओ.
have a brilliant list of clients on our roster, and I have nothing to be ungrateful for. Everything is it's been built with a lot of blood, sweat, everything, joy.
Of course.
But what I'm trying to say is that as you it's all about starting and initiating that business, because once you start you'll realize that you will make mistakes, you will have to go through a trial and error process, and you will get to know what is it that your clients are really looking for. So you might
राइट.
have started with, okay, this is the gap that I see, this is the need that I'm going to fulfill, but after a year, maybe down the line, you'll feel, okay, this is not what my customers are looking for.
राइट.
you know a very personal story. We started as a creative agency, as a communications agency. Okay,
श्योर.
eventually we've evolved into a strategic communications agency that focuses especially on internal communications, on employee engagement, on digital profiling, on leadership profiling, on change management and communication.
राइट.
And all of this wasn't planned, and all of these are not new ideas.
यस.
But the trick is, how do you execute your idea? So, for a business to be successful, your idea doesn't need to be necessarily unique. I mean, it's great
राइट.
if it's unique, but if it is not, the trick is, how do you execute it? If you execute it well, even a second class idea can become a first class business.
ब्यूटिफुल. एंड बहुत बार ऐसा देखा गया है मिश्रा, बिकॉज वी स्टार्ट एग्जीक्यूटिंग इट तो हमें नेक्स्ट स्टेप पता लगता है. इफ वी आर सिटिंग बैक एंड जस्ट
Absolutely.
कॉन्टेम्पलेटिंग, नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग, वी आर स्टिल सिटिंग ऑन द फेंस. और जब
Absolutely.
तक आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे वो पता ही नहीं लगेगा कि ऑडियंस को उस चीज की जरूरत है या नहीं.
Correct, correct. We have to take that whole fear of failure, no, out of our heads. कि अगर मैं फेल हो गई तो क्या हो जाएगा, मतलब क्या हो जाएगा, think about it. Then what?
पता लग जाएगा कि ये नहीं काम करता, ये नहीं करना
Correct.
है.
That in itself is a proof of concept for whether your idea is workable or not, right? Should
राइट.
you be spending more energy and time and effort on it or not?
राइट.
If you think that there is still merit in it, then go ahead.
राइट.
बट अगर आपको लग रहा है कि आपके आइडिया से कुछ भी नहीं बन रहा, तो यू कैन चेंज योर आइडिया ना, यू कैन चेंज द कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन.
राइट.
Maybe do it another way if that idea is so close to your heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to acknowledge a few more people. Ghazi Iqbal has joined us, says hello. Santosh Chormale says great work. Arvind Kumar Rai says good. I'm so happy to see the men are also joining us and
I'm
really cheering
very
us on.
proud of all of these people, actually. Super proud.
Thank you. Jayanti Gupta says we need a huge capital. That's another myth. Business start करना है तो बहुत सारा पैसा होना चाहिए. And since I'm working with women professionals, एक बहुत common जो factor आता है मेरे clients के पास, वो बोलते हैं नहीं मुझे कुछ साल और नौकरी करने दो, मुझे बहुत सारी saving करनी है क्योंकि business start करने के लिए तो बहुत ज़्यादा capital की ज़रूरत है. So I would want to know from you, क्या कितना पैसा चाहिए मिशा बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए, या ये सिर्फ एक मिथ है? डू वी रियली हैव अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ जीरो इन्वेस्टमेंट बिजनेसेस टुडे? आई मीन आई वुड वांट टू नो फ्रॉम यू.
Nothing is free of cost. So zero investment though is definitely not a thing. But what I would want to say is that this really is a myth that we need a huge capital base to start our own business. You
Mm-hmm.
can start small. You need to think, why is it that you need capital? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if your business idea needs technology to be developed, if your business idea needs people to carry on the idea further, if your business idea needs a lot of infrastructure to carry on the idea, if it
Right.
needs a lot of research to carry it out, then yes, you will need capital. But
Right.
if it is an idea that you can start with on your own,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and maybe go ahead and look at other sources of investment. So for
Right.
example, you can, a lot of businesses start with seed funding from their families,
Yes.
so you go out to them, talk to them, get funding from them, then you can
Mm-hmm.
look at angel investors. It's
Right.
almost like the stage zero of a
Mm-hmm.
business where you can get
Mm-hmm.
angel investment into the mix. The
Right.
minute you grow further and you think you've got the POC and you can really make it big is when you can start looking at venture capital. So it doesn't have to be all of your money at stake.
Right.
So having this myth that I need a lot of money to start my business is
Mm-hmm.
really just a myth. I mean, you have
Mm-hmm.
one, you have the option of starting uh, slow,
Mm-hmm.
and two, you have the option of various funds who can support you.
Right. Right.
And I think a lot of work is being done by government as well, to be
बहुत
fair.
सारी गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम्स हैं which are
Correct.
specially designed for women entrepreneurs,
Correct.
you
Correct.
know. And guys, if you are looking for one of those schemes, I have put a video on my channel. I'll be happy to share with all of you those schemes, those particular schemes that can really help you to get funding. So people, I would want to know from you, आपके दिमाग में या आपने अपने आसपास वालों से कौन सी ऐसी myths सुनी है? Please let us know in the chat section so that we can actually answer that for you. Is it really a reality? या ये खाली एक myth है? Please let us know in the chat section, and I want to really tell you that if you are participating, we do give you a prize at the very end. So please make sure that you are putting your valuable comments in the chat section so that we can take some of those questions out here. So now let me talk about the next myth, that I would want to discuss with you, Misha. As an entrepreneur, I have to do everything myself. शुरुआत में तो मेरे पास इतना पैसा नहीं है ना कि मैं एक एम्प्लॉय हायर कर सकूं या अपना काम आउटसोर्स कर सकूं, लेकिन तो सारा काम मुझे ही करना है, घर का काम भी मैं ही करूंगी, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का भी काम मैं ही करूंगी. सो आई वुड वांट टू नो फ्रॉम यू दैट क्या सारा काम हमें करना है या वी कैन एक्चुअली डेलीगेट इट टू समबडी.
You know what, Nirupma? This is a myth in parts and reality in parts. Okay, uh,
राइट.
when you start out as an entrepreneur, तो हम दोनों तरफ से अपने ऊपर प्रेशर तो लेते ही हैं, घर की तरफ से भी और काम की तरफ से भी. Okay,
राइट.
and when we start out as an entrepreneur, like you rightly pointed out, I don't have so much fun or to build up everything in one go, so I will have to do it. Yes, you will have to do, you will need to at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey wear a lot of hats, a lot of different hats, and you will have to do things that you've never done before. Probably
राइट.
you will have to deal with crises that you've never dealt with previously. You
राइट.
will have to unlearn a lot of things.
हम्म.
You will have to learn a lot of new skills, hands on, real time, on the job. Okay,
राइट.
because there is really no other option.
हम्म.
But at the same time, you don't have to सब कुछ खुद नहीं करने की जरूरत है.
There is a person on LinkedIn who says, I don't understand the language. So could you please let us know in the chat section which language would you want us to speak? Would you want it in Hindi or English? Please let us know. Yeah. Sorry to
तो
interrupt you.
नो
Yeah.
प्रॉब्लम. सब कुछ अपने आप करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, एंड अगर हम ये सोच रहे हैं कि घर पे हमारे को सपोर्ट चाहिए तो बोलो. You can just
Right.
ask, you should ask for support at home.
Right.
If
Right.
your family is not able to give personally lend that support to you, maybe you can hire people to support
Right.
you in your responsibilities at home. And when it comes to work, you really don't have to, and you shouldn't be doing everything yourself,
Right.
because after a point of time, you when you start earning a regular revenue stream, you can hire people, you can
Yes.
increase your team,
Yes.
and even before that you can start collaborating with people.
Right.
Collaboration is a favorite topic of mine. I just feel that you get in so many new perspectives when you collaborate with people, and you don't have to be good at everything.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have all the answers from day one.
Right.
You can pull people in, collaborate with them, connect, communicate. I think these are the key themes for an entrepreneur, I think.
Connect, collaborate, communicate. I am getting my nuggets of gold and
Brilliant.
I'm loving it. So,
Super.
no, this is not for my own circle. Please let us know which language would you want us to speak in. Hi, Shruti. So good to have you. Simran, yes, I am finding the link while, Misha is speaking. I'm shortly going to put the link of the government schemes out here. सो सारी चीजें खुद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. मेक श्योर यू आस्क फॉर हेल्प. मेक श्योर दैट यू आर मेकिंग सम मनी. शायद शुरुआत में कुछ चीजें खुद करनी होगी, बट एज योर रेवेन्यू इंक्रीजेस डेफिनेटली आप उन लोगों को हायर कर सकते हो जो अपने काम में अच्छे हैं. You are actually giving them an opportunity to really express what they are good at. So I'll move to the next myth here, which says I'm not capable of managing it all alone. बहुत सारी लेडीज बोलती है नहीं मैं अकेले नहीं मैनेज कर सकती, मुझे तो किसी के सपोर्ट की ज़रूरत है. और मैं ना आपको ये कॉन्सेप्ट वहाँ से बताऊंगी. जैसे आपने लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स में देखा होगा कि जब भी विमेन आर इलेक्टेड एज पंचायत पंच पंच जो पंचायत के देर इज ऑलवेज अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पंचायत पति. They would require somebody from their family, or they would require a male member to take care of businesses. और बहुत बार ऐसा भी होता है ना, finances, oh that's not something which is a woman's cup of tea.
Day.
मुझे I would either have to talk to my husband, either I would have to talk to my father, or I would have to talk to my brother to manage finances. And this is something a lot of my clients have come up with. So I would want to know that एक तो फाइनेंस की पार्ट है, दूसरा है आई एम नॉट केपेबल ऑफ मैनेजिंग इट ऑल अलोन. सो आई वुड वांट टू नो योर पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन दैट.
I think again I would say, Nirupma, this is all about preconditioning. Because
ओके.
हमने बचपन से ये नहीं किया. Nobody expected us to manage our finances. Okay, the boys usually in families are expected to manage finances, grow
राइट.
up and provide for the family. Women
राइट.
are supposed to nurture the family, bring up a family, have children, look after everybody. Finances वगैरह को कभी बोलता ही नहीं कोई कि आप देखो independently. You will never find, in most families you will not find a conversation that says कि हमारे दो बच्चे हैं, लड़का लड़की, लड़की अपना फाइनेंस देखे, लड़का अपना फाइनेंस देखे, हम as parents we will support them. ऐसा नहीं होता. you
राइट.
know तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये भी एक प्री कंडीशनिंग है कि हम खुद नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि हमने पहले नहीं किया. So it's not comfortable for us.
राइट.
And if you were to ask my perspective in it is the same. And I'll just bring a metaphor here. Okay,
राइट.
I'll try and draw a parallel situation for you. If you were to ask a man who is not ever stepped into the kitchen to cook a meal for you, how would he
या.
feel?
अनकंफर्टेबल, अनफेमिलियर. या.
And wanting the support of a woman
या. एग्जैक्टली.
who's been cooking the meals at their place all the time, right?
राइट.
It's the same scenario. Now, reverse it. The woman is going into a situation which she's never encountered before, of
राइट.
being an entrepreneur and running a business, managing finance, managing HR, managing marketing and sales, and managing operations, all of it
यस.
at the same time.
राइट.
Okay. Uh, how would they feel? It's
थोड़ा
just
सा
unfamiliar.
अनफेमिलियर. यस. इट्स एन अनचार्टेड टेरिटरी क्योंकि पहले काम
Correct.
नहीं किया वहां पे. राइट.
Correct. So it's the same situation. So you will, and you have grown up seeing your father working. You've grown up seeing your husband, your brother working. Your husband, after getting married, they're working. Men around you are working, and some of them are entrepreneurs. So you naturally feel that if I were to get the support of a man, it will be easier for me. But that doesn't go on to say कि यार you can't do it.
राइट. राइट.
एंड फाइनेंस की जहां तक बात आती है, कितनी सारी फाइनेंस में विमेन है. इनफैक्ट देयर वाज अ पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इन इंडिया जहां पे सारे इंडियन बैंक्स के हेड्स वर विमेन.
Right. Chanda Kochar, and I can give so many names, right?
Isn't it? So if that was the scenario, then how can this be a reality कि women aren't good at finance? We are not good at certain things because we've never done them. The minute we do them,
Losing,
we'll
yeah,
become
we
familiar
lost you
with
for a
them.
minute.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Understood. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can. Very well.
So yeah, it's about unfamiliar territory, it's about uncharted territory, but if you decide to upskill yourself, if you put your mind to it and intend to do something, I'm sure women can make it happen. और अगर फिर भी नहीं होता तो आसपास लोग हैं ना यार.
सीख लेंगे.
Exactly. या किसी से
Absolutely.
सपोर्ट ले लेंगे.
Right.
Till the
Absolutely.
time you don't get it right yourself.
Yes. And it's just a matter of practice. It's just a matter of doing that action over and over again.
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. So now, एक और myth आई है. People, I would want to know from you. Shruti has a question here. What should be the mindset of a new entrepreneur? If you could answer this before we actually take the next myth. If somebody is starting,
Shruti,
yeah, yeah.
you would have heard us talk about the three things: communications, connections, and curiosity. I think that's the kind of mindset that a new entrepreneur should have. A lot of times, I've seen women who have been working in corporates and who decide to become entrepreneurs. And when they're working in the corporate setup, they're used to a certain infrastructure, they're used to a certain position, they're used to certain comforts. You need to kind of unlearn all of those structures and come to a place where you accept that it is not going to be that in one day. Where you were working was probably built over a few years, over a lot many years, right? And you were just on ground zero. So that should be your mindset of being curious, of being ready to learn, of being ready to connect with people, of being communicative about what you need, and also talk about your vision and your idea with the right kind of people. Surround yourself with the right kind of people who would cheer you on your journey.
Right.
And like
Absolutely.
Jayanti's just now said, in today's world you don't need to know it all.
Yes.
There is so much support available. You really don't need to know everything all at once.
Right. Absolutely. And आप जिस चीज में अच्छे हैं आप उस पर फोकस करिए. Rest of the things you can always take support for.
And
Awesome.
मुझे ऐसा भी लगता है निरुपमा that as after a certain age you tend to become a perfectionist, and I think women have it twice as much. Okay, double whammy हो जाता है हमारे साथ. We want to be perfectionist with everything that we do.
Right.
तो अगर हम perfection के लिए aim करेंगे तो कई बारी हम we will miss the bus. So we need to just start where we are and you know just
Absolutely.
follow that whole connection, communication, curiosity, and you will go to places.
Lovely. So if that resonates with you, please mention the three C's: communication, curiosity, and connection. Out of these three, आपको क्या लगता है आपको किस चीज पे काम करने की जरूरत है? Communication, connection, or curiosity? Please let us know in the chat section so that we know that whether this thing is resonating with you or not. Please let us know. Okay,
Also, I think just
yes.
to add to that, Nirupma, let me add a fourth C that binds all of this together. And the
Okay.
fourth C is consistency. You can't
Uh-huh.
like do something and then suddenly give up because nobody responded.
Right.
क्योंकि वहां पे हमारा फियर ऑफ जजमेंट और फियर ऑफ फेलियर आ रहा है. अरे किस मैंने ये पुट अप किया था लिंक्डइन पे, मैंने ये पोस्ट डाला, किसी ने मेरे को जवाब ही नहीं दिया.
Right.
It won't work. You've got to be consistent irrespective of whether people are looking at you or not, because when you're consistent, ads होते हैं ना जैसे बार बार चलते रहते हैं, किसी ना किसी दिन तो रजिस्टर होते ही हैं. Same
Right.
thing. So connection, communication, curiosity, and consistency.
लवली. आई एम लविंग द लास्ट सी, कंसिस्टेंसी. और वो चीज़ मैं और फॉलो करने की कोशिश करूंगी अपने बिजनेस में. थैंक यू फॉर सेइंग दैट. Okay, let's move to the next part, which is the next myth that I would want to talk about. Women can only venture into a few sectors that are women oriented. So I would want to know from you that what are those, sectors? Are there any sectors जहाँ पे women entrepreneurship में जाना चाहिए? जैसे पहले बोलते थे ना, biking is not a woman's cup of tea. ये तो it's a man's world. So I would want to know, जैसे and even from the traditional times, if you've seen the cottage industries, लिज्जत पापड़ की अगर आपने case study सुनी है, somewhere or the other, all of there have been certain industries जो women centric बनाई गई है. So I would want to know from you, is this a myth, or is it just because it's familiar and it's safe that we talk about this? Yeah.
I think more than a myth, it's probably information that we've been fed, you
Okay.
know. So usually, what will happen is you will find women being reported as being very successful in lifestyle kind of sectors, lifestyle
Right.
businesses. You know, you
Uh-huh.
spoke about Lijjat Papad, which is a food business, for example,
Right.
or women getting very popular in the service sectors and not the traditional manufacturing sectors. You know, but I want to point you to the space where you also see women like Kiran Mazumdar Shaw. You
Right.
see people like Roshni Nadar, right? All of these people, they've got their businesses set up in healthcare, life sciences, education. You know, तो अगर वो कर सकते हैं, then I don't think this is really relevant कि हम कौन से सेक्टर में हैं. And personally, I know of women who are in sectors like which are traditionally men's sectors, you know, like automotive sector. I
Right.
know women who are part of the aircraft leasing sector. I
Right.
know women who are part of logistics sectors. You know, I know women who are part of cyber security sectors.
Okay.
Now, all of these women are doing brilliant work, but in areas that have been traditionally known as men's sectors. You know, so I don't think women have any sectors assigned to them that only women can do this sector. What about the Bombay, this one, Dabba Walas, for example?
Yeah.
Food sector, na?
Right.
Some of the best chefs in our country. Food
Right.
sector, men. So I think we need to move beyond this gender bias, even in our own heads as women, you know, and get into the space of being an entrepreneur. As an
एंड
entrepreneur,
अगेन, जैसे आप बार बार बोल रहे हैं कि जहां पे प्रॉब्लम है, वी आर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर्स, यू नो.
exactly. You're value adders. You're adding value to your target audience by what you're offering to them, whether it is a product, whether it is a service. So
राइट.
when you think of that, then you become an entrepreneur, not when you think that I'm a man or I'm a woman, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. So I would also want to know from the audience that, are there anything that is, that is actually ringing a bell in your head? Are you feeling that ये myths आपके लिए useful है? If it's useful, please type useful in the chat section so that we know that this is actually valuable and useful for you before I take the next myth ahead. And the next myth is something that most of us go through this. This is not the right time to start my entrepreneurial journey. अभी जब सही टाइम होगा ना, उस टाइम पे मैं स्टार्ट करूंगी. So is there a right time? Is there something known as right time when my kids grow up, or when I have less responsibilities, or maybe right now I'm in my 20s, मैं बहुत young हूँ, I cannot really start at this juncture. I need to take some experience. I would want to know from you, when is the right time, and is there something known as the right time?
You know, I will answer that question from my own perspective, and then I would actually want the audience to say what they feel.
Yes.
Because from my perspective, there is never going to be a right time.
Right.
You know, there will always be challenges. There will always be things that come to you as priorities, fighting for your attention and time and resources. That will always happen. But
Sure.
if you do think that there is something that is really big, then you can use that time. You can set up a time for yourself that by this time I will turn into an entrepreneur. Use
Right.
that time to prepare yourself to start that journey. So don't waste that. If you've already thought of becoming an entrepreneur, then make it come true. Use that time to prepare yourself for that role rather
Right.
than thinking this is not the right time. And priorities keep changing. I mean, I'll tell you my own example. When my son was born, I stopped working. And in my head, I thought that this is it now. And my child is my whole world. Now
Right.
this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm never going to go back to working again.
Right.
But I started working again. So things will keep coming up for you. But if you made one decision, doesn't mean you can't make another decision in the future. And there's never going to be the right time. Where you are right now is the right time if you think you're prepared enough to do it.
Amazing. Where you are right now is the right time. And you, and I also feel preparation is something like, it can happen on the go, like the way we were talking about. There's
Absolutely.
something not, there's nothing like perfection. We need to keep
Absolutely.
progressing each and
Evolving.
every day,
Correct.
you know.
And you don't need to have to do it consciously. वो अपने आप आएगा. When you start working with clients, when you start working with other people, automatically you will get inspired. Automatically you will need to turn to a new way of working just to be able to solve that problem for your customers. Like you said, we are problem solvers.
Right.
Yes, we are. We have to ultimately find a process that works in providing the best value to our customers, right?
Absolutely.
And that can come on the job as well. So you can't predict कि अब मैंने सारे आंसर्स लिख लिए, अब मैं prepared हूँ एग्जाम के लिए, now I'm gonna. Never
और
gonna
क्वेश्चन
happen.
आउट ऑफ सिलेबस आ गया तो
क्या करेंगे?
Right. I love the way you're answering this particular part, that we just need to get started, and our audience, our customers will tell us, that what is the direction in which we are supposed to work. Amazing. So this actually brings us to the last segment, but I would also want to know from my audience right now, would you want to ask any of the questions? Because we still have some time before I actually put the final question to Misha. So let us know if you have any questions that you would want us to take on. Simran Pahuja says connection is something for sure that is required. Shruti Kumar says she's going to do consistency. Jayanti Gupta says being a mom of a young man in the world of TEDx and information flux, I feel you get your hands dirty first, but put a timeline to it. I love the way she's mentioned the timeline part, because sometimes we become so lax and we're like, we have all the time in the world. So, really,
Absolutely.
very important point, Jayanti, that you've put. So, as we are moving ahead, I would want to know from you if there is one thing that you would have to share, though you've shared so many things out here, on this show, but what is going to be a final message to the people who are listening to you right now? And we always, end these shows with a one-liner. So we would first want to take your final message, and then we would want a one-liner from you, would want to know from you that what is the final message for the audience? Yes.
I think, before I answer that, should we answer that myth from
Yes.
Anaya?
Suganya has given a myth, and this is a wonderful. Client also face similar things. Women entrepreneurs who work from home, and because people felt वो time pass कर रही है, they used to bombard her with a lot of household chores. और जब फिर कुछ time मिलता था वो business में डालती थी. So I would want to know from you that how do we bust this myth?
No, it is definitely a myth, but I would say that it is true for anybody who's working from home. मतलब जब कोरोना में हम सबको घर से काम करना पड़ता था, even men and even women, तो like our children and our parents, for example, क्योंकि हम उन्हें सामने दिखते थे, so it was kind of like a given कि we are available, we are not
Right,
working, you
right.
know. So तो मुझे ये लगता है कि इससे डील करने के लिए वी शुड डेफिनेटली create boundaries. Okay, you have to, like I said earlier, you have to communicate, you have to tell your family, um, especially the people who get impacted by your work, right? You don't have to tell the world, but you have to tell your family, because ultimately they matter, that during these hours you're going to be working, and that means that you can't be putting your attention to other things. Okay, maybe it requires creating some structures, maybe it requires creating some schedules, that during this time this doesn't happen, and if there is something that is urgent, then you schedule your meetings or your work accordingly. So I think you need to be a lot more structured as an entrepreneur. So वो step आपको खुद लेना पड़ेगा, that initiative you will need to take yourself. So communicate and convey what you're doing, show them what you're doing, give them a vision, show them the result of all of your work, include them in your celebrations, include them in your achievements, include them in your milestones. That's the only way they will know that you're really not doing just a time pass, but you're really working. So
Beautiful.
structure and
Yes.
communication again.
Structure, communication and celebration, जो आपने last part बोला,
Absolutely, absolutely.
that उनके साथ celebrate ज़रूर कीजिए कि this is the revenue or this is the profit that I've got in my business. So
Exactly.
you also get to eat the piece of the cake along with me.
एब्सोल्युटली इट्स सो इम्पोर्टेंट क्योंकि हम क्या करते हैं हमको लगता है कि और ये हम सब करते हैं हमें लगता है हमारे पेरेंट्स को क्या ही समझ आएगा हम क्या काम कर रहे हैं यू
Right.
नो या किसी को हमारे में क्यों इंटरेस्ट है बट द
Right.
होल पॉइंट इज कि दे आर गेटिंग इम्पैक्टेड बाय व्हाट वी आर डूइंग ना स्पेशली इफ दे आर लिविंग विद यू
Right.
तो अगर वो इम्पैक्ट हो रहे हैं देन टेल देम टॉक टू देम अबाउट इट इफ दैट्स अ कंसर्न बिल्ड अ स्ट्रक्चर अराउंड इट
Beautiful, beautiful. I love the way you're emphasizing on creating a structure and also defining a boundary that this is my working hours and I'm not available at this particular time. I'm going to be talking to you after this.
और
Beautiful.
बिफोर
Or before. Yes. Lovely. So now we would want to know from you your final message to the audience who are listening. And guys, you have to stay tuned because we're going to be announcing the winners very soon. Let's
yep
hear the final message. And please, while she's talking about the final message, please give us your takeaways. What is it that you have learned from us, today, so that it registers? Because if you declare it publicly, what happens is we are actually giving a signal to our brain that this is what I've learned from the show today. So please put it in the chat section while we hear the final message from Misha.
Well, I would say, Nirupma, my final message is, and this is completely out of experience, okay, that for me personally, starting my own business was something that I created. You know,
Right.
it's like a baby to me. It's like a child to me now, okay?
Right.
And they say it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would want to extend the same to my business. You know, it takes a village to run a business and to grow a already running business into a successful business. So don't hesitate to connect, don't hesitate to communicate, and don't hesitate to be curious about what others feel on a consistent basis. Because unless you have this kind of a structure, you you cannot run a successful business. You need all the support that you can, and it's only on you who can ask for this support. So it takes a village to run a business, and that's the truth.
And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to connect. It's okay to share experiences that, hey, this is what is not working.
Absolutely.
Could you provide me a solution? Because only when you ask for the solution, like the way, this is a platform that we've created where people bring in their questions, every Thursday or every Saturday on Sambhav Talks, wherein whatever questions they have in their mind, it's an opportunity for them to ask them that, see, I'm not alone. There are many others who are traveling in the same bus.
Absolutely. And when you are in your own shell, you think everybody else is doing brilliantly and you're not doing anything. When you
Right.
start getting out and you start connecting with people is when you start realizing कि बाकी सबको वो इतना ही आता है जितना मेरे को आता है. ठीक है, यहाँ पे नहीं आता तो मैं ये इससे सीख लेता हूँ, but इसको ये नहीं आता जो मेरे को आता है.
True.
You know, so it's always a collaboration.
Beautiful. And your final one liner that we would want to know from you.
Oh, my favorite one liner for me is either I will find a way or I will make a way. That's my favorite quote, I think.
Glad we found you because we made this way for you.
I love how you play with words, Nirupama. You've got amazing energy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just having fun and enjoying this part with you and,
Same
just
here.
awesome. So let me just announce the winners for today. Clearly, the first winner that we have is Jayanti Gupta. So, guys, can
Hey.
we all congratulate for Jayanti? Please write congratulations because if you celebrate others' success, they celebrate for you. So please make sure that you are congratulating. The second winner that we have is Suganya, who has joined us from Abu Dhabi. Cheers to you, Suganya. We are so happy to have
Congratulations,
you.
Janti. Congratulations, Suganya.
And the third, winner that we have is Simran Pahuja. So Simran, if you are here, we would also want to congratulate you and want to say that you girls, you are amazing. Please keep marching on your journey. Keep moving ahead and keep sharing your success with all of us. And for all of you who want to collect your prizes, make sure you write to me on LinkedIn and I'm going to personally reach out to you with your special gift. and make sure that we celebrate together. So let me just bring in some of the takeaways. Jayanti says the biggest takeaway for her is setting boundaries is very important to maintain your identity and respect, and it does reverberate. That's something, Jayanti has actually shared with us. And for the others, I would want to say, please make sure that you stay tuned to all these episodes of Listen Up Girl that we bring to you every Thursday. And I want to tell you that without you guys, we cannot make this show a huge success. So thank you very much. And I'm going to see you next week, same time, same channel. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks. Thanks for having me, Nirupma. It's been wonderful.